The sun beat down mercilessly on the dusty plains of Arizona Territory in 1875, turning the cracked earth into a furnace underfoot. Eliza Thorne, a spirited young woman from Boston, had ventured west seeking adventure and fortune after her father's untimely death left her with nothing but a worn map to a rumored gold claim. She traveled alone, disguised in men's trousers and a wide-brimmed hat to avoid unwanted attention from the rough crowds that roamed these lawless lands. Her journey had been grueling, days on horseback through canyons and over mesas, nights spent huddled by campfires listening to coyotes howl. But nothing prepared her for the betrayal that struck on this fateful afternoon. Eliza had stopped at a shallow creek to water her horse and refresh herself. The water sparkled invitingly, a rare oasis in the arid wilderness. She tethered her mare, Dusty, to a scraggly mesquite tree and stripped off her dusty clothes, laying them neatly on a flat rock. Dipping into the cool stream, she sighed with relief as the water washed away the grime of the trail. For a brief moment, she felt free, the weight of her worries lifting like steam from the surface. But freedom turned to horror in an instant. From the bushes on the opposite bank, three shadowy figures emerged, outlaws, their faces scarred and grim under battered hats. The leader, a burly man with a jagged scar across his cheek, grinned wickedly, his yellow teeth flashing. Well, what do we have here? A little eastern flower all alone. His companions laughed, one snatching up her clothes while the other grabbed her saddlebags. Eliza screamed, splashing deeper into the water to cover herself, but they were too quick. The scar-faced man mounted her horse, tipping his hat mockingly. Thanks for the duds and the nag, missy. Stay wet. With a whoop, they galloped off, leaving a trail of dust that choked the air. Eliza crouched in the creek, her heart pounding like a war drum. Naked and vulnerable, she scanned the horizon. The nearest town, Silver Gulch, was miles away, and the plains offered no cover. Panic clawed at her throat. She couldn't stay here, rattlesnakes and bandits lurked everywhere. Wrapping her arms around herself, she waded out, her skin prickling in the hot wind. She fashioned a makeshift covering from broad leaves and vines, but it was flimsy, barely concealing her dignity. Hours passed as she trudged along the trail, thorns scraping her bare feet, the sun scorching her exposed skin. Every rustle in the brush sent her diving for cover, fearing more thieves or worse. Her mind raced with thoughts of survival. How would she reclaim her belongings? Who could she trust in this godforsaken place? The map to the gold claim was in those saddlebags. Without it, her dreams shattered. As dusk painted the sky in fiery oranges, Eliza spotted a lone rider on the horizon. He was a tall figure silhouetted against the setting sun, his horse ambling steadily. Desperation overrode caution. Help! Please help me, she cried, waving her arms despite her scant covering. The rider spurred his horse forward, dust kicking up behind him. He was a cowboy through and through, leather chaps over denim pants, a weathered Stetson shading piercing blue eyes, and a Colt revolver holstered at his hip. His name was Jack Harlan, a former Texas Ranger turned bounty hunter, known in these parts for his quick draw and unyielding sense of justice. Jack had been tracking a gang of rustlers when he heard the plea. Pulling up short, he dismounted, his boots crunching on the gravel. Ma'am? What in tarnation happened to you? His voice was gruff but kind, his gaze averting respectfully as he shrugged off his duster coat and offered it to her. Eliza clutched the coat gratefully, wrapping it around her trembling form. They stole everything, my clothes, my horse, my bags. 3 men, one with a scar on his face. Please, cowboy, you have to help me. Jack's jaw tightened. He knew the description all too well, Scarface Malone and his crew, notorious for preying on travelers along the creek trails. They'd evaded him for weeks, but now they had crossed a line that ignited his fury. Don't you worry none, miss. Name's Jack Harlan. We'll get your things back. But first, let's get you safe. He helped her onto his horse, mounting behind her with careful distance. As they rode toward a hidden campsite he knew in the nearby hills, Eliza poured out her story. She spoke of her father's map, the promise of gold that could rebuild her life, and the dangers she'd faced crossing the territories. Jack listened intently, his mind already plotting. He'd seen too many innocents suffer at the hands of outlaws. This one stirred something protective in him, a reminder of his own lost sister years ago. At the campsite, a sheltered nook with a spring and firewood, Jack built a fire and shared his provisions, jerky, biscuits, and coffee. He fashioned a crude outfit for her from spare cloth in his pack, enough to restore some modesty. As night fell, stars blanketing the sky like diamonds, they talked by the flickering flames. Jack shared tales of his ranger days, chasing Comanche raiders and bringing down cattle thieves. Eliza, emboldened by his presence, revealed more about her adventurous spirit, how she'd learned to shoot and ride back east, defying societal norms. But tension simmered beneath the surface. Jack knew Malone's gang was holed up in an abandoned mine nearby, likely divvying up their spoils. He sketched a plan in the dirt, sneak in at dawn, use the element of surprise. Eliza insisted on coming along, her eyes fierce. "Those are my things. I won't sit idle." Jack admired her grit but warned of the risks. "These men are killers, ma'am. One wrong move." "I can handle myself," she retorted, pulling a small derringer from the coat pocket. He'd forgotten it was there. Jack chuckled, impressed. As the fire died to embers, they settled in for the night, Jack keeping watch. Eliza drifted to sleep, dreaming of gold and justice, while Jack pondered the woman who'd upended his solitary path. Little did they know, Malone's scouts had spotted their fire from afar, setting the stage for a confrontation that would test them both. The next morning broke clear and crisp. Jack and Eliza broke camp early, riding double toward the mine. The terrain grew rugged, boulders strewn like giants' playthings. Jack's horse picked its way carefully, senses alert. Eliza gripped the saddle horn, her makeshift clothes chafing but her resolve steel hard. They dismounted a quarter-mile out, tying the horse and proceeding on foot. Jack led, revolver drawn, Eliza close behind with her derringer. The mine entrance loomed, a dark maw in the hillside, guarded by a single sentry dozing against a rock. Jack crept up silently, disarming him with a swift blow to the head. Inside, the tunnel branched into dim chambers lit by lanterns. Voices echoed, Malone and his men laughing over their haul. Jack signaled Eliza to stay put, but she followed anyway, heart racing. Peering around a corner, they saw the outlaws, Scarface pawing through Eliza's saddlebags, her clothes strewn about, the map unfolded on a crate. "That's it," Eliza whispered fiercely. Jack nodded, cocking his hammer. "On 3. But before he could count, a rat skittered across the floor, knocking over a tin can. The clang alerted the gang. "Intruders!" Malone bellowed, grabbing his rifle. Gunfire erupted in the confined space, bullets ricocheting off walls. Jack dove for cover, firing back and dropping one outlaw. Eliza, adrenaline surging, squeezed off a shot that grazed Malone's arm. He howled, retreating deeper into the mine. "After them!" Jack yelled, pursuing with Eliza at his heels. The chase led through twisting shafts, lanterns casting eerie shadows. Malone's remaining man turned to fight, but Jack's aim was true, a single shot ended the threat. Now it was just Malone, cornered in a dead-end chamber, clutching the map like a lifeline. "Give it up, Malone!" Jack demanded, gun steady. Malone sneered, blood dripping from his wound. "You and your little lady friend think you can take me? This map's worth a fortune." Eliza stepped forward, derringer aimed. "It's mine. Hand it over." In a desperate lunge, Malone charged, but Jack fired, the bullet striking true. Malone crumpled, the map fluttering to the ground. Eliza snatched it up, along with her clothes and bags. Victory tasted sweet, but the violence left her shaken. As they emerged into the sunlight, retrieving Dusty from the outlaw's corral, Jack tipped his hat. "You're one tough lady, Eliza Thorne." She smiled, dressing properly at last. "And you're the cowboy who saved me." "Thank you, Jack." They rode off together, the gold claim awaiting, bonds forged in fire and lead. But whispers of greater dangers lurked ahead, unseen in the vast Wild West. Jack and Eliza rode side by side under the relentless Arizona sun, the mine's dust still clinging to their clothes like a bad omen. The map in Eliza's saddlebag promised riches in a hidden canyon, but the weight of their recent skirmish hung heavy. Malone's gang was dead, yet Jack's instincts prickled, outlaws like that rarely operated alone. "Keep your eyes peeled," he muttered, scanning the horizon where heat waves danced like phantoms. Eliza nodded, her derringer holstered but ready. The thrill of reclaiming her possessions mixed with a gnawing unease. She'd heard tales of cursed gold, of claims guarded by more than just rock and river. As they descended into a narrow ravine, the walls rose steep and shadowed, echoing their horses' hooves like mocking laughter. Suddenly, a rifle crack split the air. Jack's horse reared, a bullet whizzing past his ear. "Ambush," he shouted, yanking Eliza down as they dismounted and scrambled for cover behind boulders. From the ridge above, figures appeared, 5 riders, faces masked, guns blazing. These weren't Malone's remnants, their gear was military issue, faded Union bluecoats hinting at deserters turned bandits. The leader, a gaunt man with a hooked nose, called down, "That's far enough, Harlan. We know about the map. Hand it over, or we'll bury you here." Jack fired back, his shot clipping one assailant's hat. "Who sent you? This ain't your fight." Eliza's heart thundered. She peeked out, spotting a path up the cliff, a risky climb but perhaps a way to flank them. "Jack, cover me," she whispered, darting out before he could protest. Bullets chipped rock around her as she scrambled upward, hands bleeding on jagged edges. Jack laid down suppressing fire, dropping one bandit who tumbled down the slope in a lifeless heap. The air filled with gun smoke and curses, the ravine a deadly funnel. Reaching the top, Eliza crouched behind a cactus, derringer trembling in her grip. The bandits were focused on Jack below, reloading rifles. She aimed at the leader's back, bam. The shot hit his shoulder, spinning him around. He roared in pain, spotting her. "You little witch!" Chaos erupted. The wounded leader charged Eliza, knife drawn, while his men turned their fire upward. She dodged, tripping over roots, the knife slashing air inches from her face. Rolling away, she fired again, the bullet piercing his thigh. He collapsed, clutching the wound. Below, Jack seized the distraction, charging up a gentler slope on foot. He tackled one bandit, fists flying in a brutal melee. Bones cracked, grunts echoed. Another outlaw swung a rifle but at Jack's head, but he ducked, countering with a knee to the gut and a point-blank shot. Eliza wrestled with the leader, his blood-smeared hands grabbing her throat. Stars burst in her vision as she clawed at his eyes. In desperation, she kneed him hard, breaking free. Gasping, she grabbed a loose rock and smashed it against his temple. He went limp, unconscious. The last 2 bandits, seeing their comrades fall, spurred their horses to flee. But Jack, now atop the ridge, drew his revolver with deadly precision. 2 shots rang out, they slumped in their saddles, horses bolting riderless into the distance. Silence fell, broken only by ragged breaths. Jack rushed to Eliza, helping her up. "You all right?" That was reckless as hell. She wiped blood from her lip, adrenaline fading into shock. Had to be done. Who were they? Jack rifled through the leader's pockets, finding a crumpled telegram, intercept map bearers. Reward substantial. Blackwood. Blackwood, Jack growled. Elias Blackwood, the railroad baron. He's been buying up claims to expand his lines. Must have heard about your father's map through spies. Eliza's eyes widened. My father mentioned a partner once. Could Blackwood be behind his death? Before Jack could respond, a low rumble shook the ground. Dust cascaded from the ravine walls. Earthquake? Eliza gasped. Worse, a dynamite blast echoed from deeper in the canyon. The bandits had set charges. Rocks tumbled, the path ahead collapsing in a landslide. Run! Jack yelled, grabbing her hand. They sprinted back, horses whinnying in terror. A massive boulder crashed down, missing them by feet. The ravine narrowed, walls closing like jaws. Eliza's foot caught on debris. She fell, twisting her ankle with a sharp crack. Jack hauled her up, slinging her over his shoulder. "Hold on." He dashed forward, muscles straining, as the world crumbled around them. A chasm opened ahead, the bridge of earth giving way. With a mighty leap, Jack cleared it, landing hard on the other side just as the ravine sealed behind them in a thunderous roar. They collapsed in a heap, coughing dust, alive by a miracle. But relief was short-lived. From the settling debris emerged a figure, Blackwood himself, impeccably dressed in a suit, flanked by hired guns. He'd been waiting, the ambush a setup to flush them out. "Well played, Harlan," Blackwood sneered, his voice oily smooth. "But the map is mine now. Your father's claim interferes with my empire." Eliza, pain shooting through her ankle, realized the horror. Blackwood had murdered her father, poisoned him back in Boston to steal the claim. The map was the last proof. "You bastard," she spat, lunging despite her injury. A guard restrained her. Jack, surrounded, calculated odds, 6 against 1, guns trained. "Let her go, Blackwood. This ends now." Blackwood laughed, drawing a pearl-handled pistol. "Oh, it does." He aimed at Eliza's head. Time slowed. Jack's hand blurred to his holster, a legendary quick draw. Bang! Blackwood's shot went wild as Jack's bullet tore through his hand. The Baron screamed, dropping his weapon. Pandemonium. Guards fired, Jack rolled, returning shots with lethal accuracy. 1 down, 2 bullets whined. Eliza, freed in the chaos, grabbed a fallen rifle, blasting another guard. Blackwood, clutching his mangled hand, fled toward his horse. "Kill them!" Jack pursued, dodging lead. He tackled Blackwood off his mount, the two rolling in the dirt. Fists pummeled, Blackwood fought dirty, pulling a hidden dagger. It sliced Jack's arm, blood flowing hot. Eliza limped forward, rifle raised. "Stop!" Blackwood stabbed wildly, but Jack disarmed him with a twist, the dagger clattering away. Pinning the Baron, Jack snarled, "For her father. For all you've ruined." A final punch knocked Blackwood out cold. The remaining guards, seeing their employer defeated, threw down arms and ran. Eliza bound Blackwood with rope from the horses, her hands shaking. "It's over?" Jack nodded, bandaging his wound. "We'll take him to the marshal in Silver Gulch." Justice served. But as they prepared to ride, a glint caught Eliza's eye. A hidden compartment in Blackwood's saddlebag burst open during the fight. Inside, documents proving his crimes, including ledgers of bribes, murders, and stolen claims. Among them, a confession to poisoning her father. Tears stung her eyes. "He'll hang for this." They mounted up, Blackwood draped unconscious over a horse. The canyon ahead opened to the plains, the gold claim waiting untouched. But now, it symbolized more, vengeance achieved, a future together. As they rode into the sunset, storm clouds gathered, lightning flashing distant. Whispers of Blackwood's allies lingered, promising more shadows. Yet with Jack by her side, Eliza faced it unflinching, the Wild West's dangers forging them into legends. Deep in the night, at a way station, Blackwood stirred, eyes gleaming with malice. A bribed guard slipped him a key, escaped brood. The story wasn't over, suspense coiled like a snake, ready to strike anew.